Fullkrug and Rudiger's bust up in training, and whether or not this could be a distraction. Sorry for that typo. Distraction as they prepare to take on Scotland. The game is, right now it's Wednesday, 11:52 p.m. The game kicks off our time on 2 o'clock on Friday. I'm Central Time, by the way. So, we got less than 48 hours to go till the start of this European Championship, this dynamite of a tournament. And what a way to start it off than Germany-Scotland. Brilliant game, in my opinion. A game that gives us, the home team with all the pressure on them. And then we also have the passion of the Scottish fan with the Tartan Army. I think it's going to be interesting. Now, regarding this training row that happened. So, Niclas Fullkrug and Rudiger, this has been widely reported, actually confirmed by Toni Kroos in his comments that we'll discuss later on. But, they had a falling out while they were doing a drill in training during Monday. It was on Monday's session, and the two ended up pushing each other, and they were pushing each other, all that, blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind, these are two players that were just playing against each other in the Champions League final, in the biggest game in club competition. So obviously, there's a little bit of there. Rudiger obviously ended up winning that and winning the Champions League. But obviously there's a there's some issues there, obviously. Not issues, but there's a reason for a little bit of tension there. But again, for me, I'm not making this a big deal. The only reason why this potentially could be a big deal is the fact that, the Champions League final happened. That's the only reason why I was thinking this may be a story, from the fact that a Champions League final happened that, a week ago now, a week or so ago. So that could lead to some of the tension, which could, possibly make it a little bit more long term. You remember whenever there was a bust up between Raheem Sterling and Joe Gomez in a Man City Liverpool game, they moved on to international camp a week later, and they ended up having a training bust up again within the England camp that led Raheem Sterling to being sent home. So it is they're showing that any situations that happen within the club scene could tend to boil over and make things a little bit of a awkward point within the national team. But it seems like these two have already resolved their issues. They were seen smiling, walking out together in training the next day on Tuesday. So it seemed like it was just something a little heated in the moment, a little bust up. They probably apologized. They probably forgot about it, probably laughed over it on dinner as the team continues to, grow together, the camaraderie as they enter the European Championship. So for me, really, no big thing here. Not even a distraction, really. And it's just normal. Toni Kroos, speaking about this incident, he said, I see it as a good thing when situations like this occur. Although I had to take the wind out of the sails a little, it wasn't meant to be taken too seriously. The only person Niclas was angry with was the referee. He knows that it is his own fault if he gets into a duel with Tony. Kroos was also, he was involved with the Champions League winning team, with Rudiger that defeated Fullkrug in Dortmund and Real Madrid. That was actually Kroos' last game, and Toni Kroos is going to retire from football in general after this European Championship this summer. He spoke about that too, talking about how much of a privilege it is to compete, in the fact that this is their European Championship, that the fact that his final tournament, his final games of football is going to be playing for his country at home. This is what he came out and he said this during that same conference. Basically, at every tournament on home soil, there is pressure. It is even more special. You get feedback instantly. the positive and the negative. We have big responsibility for the atmosphere in the country for the next 2 weeks. We know what this is about, but it is also a great honor and joy to play this tournament. Keep in mind, Germany do kick off, this tournament on Friday as they take on Scotland in Munich, in the Bayern Munich arena. That was Toni Kroos's home for the first half of his career as he played for Bayern, where he also won a Champions League there, one of his 6 Champions Leagues. Ridiculous. Now with Germany entering this, getting past this little distraction amongst the what happened between the players, I think this is an important start for Germany. I think Germany, in the last few tournaments that have gone wrong for them in terms of not being successful, they've always gone off to a bad start. Let's go back to the 2018 World Cup. They were shocked by Mexico in the opening game, and they lost that game 1-0 on a goal by Irving Lozano. You go to 2022 or 2021, the European Championship. They open up against the previous World Cup champions against France. They went on to lose that game 1-0. And then the 2022 World Cup, they take on a Japanese national team, this firecracker of a national team. They ended up conceding a 1-0 lead and losing 2-1 to Japan. And, in those 3 tournaments, they ended up all being failures for Germany. With getting eliminated in the group stages of both World Cups and getting eliminated in the knockout in the round of 16 by England in the European Championship, which, by the way, they only were able to reach a European Championship round of 16 after narrowly getting a draw within the last few minutes against Hungary at home, narrowly getting a draw to put them in the knockout stage games. And by the way, they played all these 3 games at the European Championships in the group stages. They played all 3 games in Munich. They were the home team for all 3 games, and they were able to just barely scrape through into the knockout stages games. If they did end up losing that game to Hungary, which they were minutes away, they would have finished last in the group. So that was another horrible tournament, in my opinion, with the German national team standard. So, I'm saying all this because it is imperative for Germany to get off to a fast start at these European Championship. They need to get the crowd behind them. They need to get the fan support up there. It is widely known, it's been widely reported that the level of passion from this German support has not been there. The World Cup, the lack of German fans, the lack of the German fans really caring about their national team was apparent at the European Championship. Hungary, whenever they played against Hungary, it seemed like there was more Hungary fans in the Munich arena than Germany fans. It is imperative for this German national team to get the nation back behind them, to get them believing, and to build this atmosphere as they want to go on this run, because this is a talented load of players, with the likes of Florian Wirtz, with the likes of Jamal Musiala. It just goes on and on and on with this team. It's a brilliant team. Kai Havertz. It just goes on and on and on. And the talent is unquestionable. Talent is there. Defensively, midfield, attack-wise, really good goalkeeper. There's no holes in this team. They're a very, very good team. And, anything with the fact that it's a home tournament, anything besides a semifinals or finals appearance, anything besides the semifinals and beyond will be an utter failure for the national team, because of the fact that they're home. Now, if they're not home and we're looking at this from, a neutral point of view and they're not home, honestly, for me, a successful tournament for them would be quarterfinals, because it's progression over what we have seen over the past few European Championships, past few World Cups. It's, it's a little bit of a progression, a sign of going up, which is what we look for. But the fact that you're playing this tournament at home, the level of expectations should raise up, and they really should be a top favorite at this championship with what the talent that they have. So it is imperative for them to get off to a great start at this summer's European Championship as they take on a Scottish team that will sit, that will bunker, that will make it hard for them. So it's a great test for them, and it's a great way to open up this European Championship. We will preview that game in depth tomorrow.